Okay, so this second material is about thinking the importance of the teacher's role in today's education. Okay, so as you can see there, first slide is that, like the entrance to this reflection, to think ahead or think of this your teacher's role in today's pandemic world. Okay, so as it says there, e-learning as a window of new possibilities to transform the education. Okay, so there are many ways to transform it, but this is the one we have chosen by implementing technology in the classroom. Okay, so I have said different videos. So the only thing that you have to do when moving forward in the presentation is to click on this little icon here that says video, and it will lead you or will take you to the presentation in YouTube. Okay, so first we have to understand what comfort zone is. Okay, so as teachers and as human beings in general, we are always surrounded by our daily routine, and as a routine we build a comfort zone or comfort territory or boundary that keep us away from what we consider danger or what we consider harmful things. And you can understand this danger in any way. Okay, it can be like, for example, not going out because out there's a virus that can literally can kill us. So that our comfort zone right now, it's our house, our home. So if you take that metaphor and take it to the next level, we can think of teachers as people that for a long time they have been in a comfort zone, like going every day to classes, explaining things the way they like, using the whiteboard, sending workshops, working them in class, and presenting the feedback right away. But with this scenario, we are, or we have been thrown out, all of us have been thrown out of our comfort zone, and now some of us are in danger of losing jobs. Some of us are learning because some of us are quick fast learners, and we move, we change, we interact with things that are thrown at us, and we dodge them, and we find new ways to implement. So that's what we want. So when you watch this video, you will see what I mean to what I mean when I say to leave or to expand your zone of comfort. When you expand it, when you go beyond that, that's when you learn. So please watch that video. Once you watch it, ask yourself this question: what is the video about? It's about what? Reflect on that and apply what the video just explained to your status as a teacher right now in 2020. Apply it. Think about that. Reflect about that. Understand it. Go inside yourself and see what's your strength and what are your weaknesses or your weak points, and try to work on them. But just by watching the video and apply what the video says to your life right now as a teacher. So once we consider our ideas about the comfort zone, let's reflect on that. So take that and think, how can I do, or what can I do to change or to expand my comfort zone. And what you're doing right now in this special course, especialización en la enseñanza del inglés, it's that you're leaving your comfort zone, you're expanding your knowledge, and it's wonderful because now it's the time to learn that. Now it's the time when you need all these type of tools and the guidance and the tutorial to implement it in a like creative way, so you can like succeed in every class you have with your students every day. And no one is saying that's easy, and it will not be easy, but it's something it is just as riding a bike. Once you get it moving, you won't forget. You will forget it. You will remember it every time you are on the bike. This is how technology works. Once you get used to it, once you practice with it every day, like using WhatsApp for your classes or implementing some editing tools to edit your videos, or you use some sort of you use your telephone or cell phone as something different from a device to make calls, to make phone calls. So you download an app that allows you to record podcasts, so you can deliver better performance as a teacher, and you can deliver faster and precise feedbacks when it is required by your students. Okay, so you think about that, your role as a teacher. Once you do that, your role as a teacher is this it? I'm sorry. So when someone or any student in your class do not understand something that you are explaining, is this your attitude towards your student? Is that it? Sometimes when we are tired and we are frustrated, sometimes this is our reactions. We like do not treat our students the way they should be treated, because maybe some event, some circumstances are right in the middle of our relationship between our students and our role as a teacher in the classroom. And that's what we do. This is the type of things that we do when we are with our students. So we must refresh our heads and go outside and pay attention what we do, so we avoid these type of situations in the classroom. So if you have this, you should reconsider and apply Mark Prensky Educating Young Minds. Watch that video and you will see how Mark Prensky presents a wonderful idea about educating young minds according to their own settings, brain settings, according to what's going on around their contexts. Okay, so pay attention to that video and you will find it interesting as well, because I know you will like it. So if you do that, are you willing to be the teacher he just explained? Are you willing to put more energy? Or maybe it's not about effort, maybe it's about dropping or leaving aside, taking that bag of your back and try to change and take lighter devices, lighter ideas, and putting them together and making them work as a unit. And what I mean by that, it's technology. Maybe you should drop your old school methodologies and should move away, and little by little and step by step, into what Prensky is proposing. And it can be done because I've been like doing this for maybe 3 or 4 years, and right now in this pandemic scenario, I'm learning fast. I'm producing faster, and it is because I was into that before this pandemic scenario. So it can be done. So I'm going to explain why my classroom, why I consider my classroom a battle zone. Because after I walk out of that door of every classroom, I start like punishing myself, thinking about the things that I should have done or the things I planned and I didn't do. And I retrace my steps in the classroom, so I meditate on my mistakes so I can like be prepared for the next class, so I don't make the same mistake. Maybe I was frustrated, maybe the exercises that I planned didn't work out because my students were bored, they were tired, or they were hungry, or I didn't have a piece of device that I needed and I forgot that at home. So my plan went to hell. So I needed to change it right away in that moment, and it didn't work. So I go out of the class frustrated. So for me, every class that I go to, and for me, every class that I finish, it becomes immediately a process of reflection on what I did. So we should do that every time we finish a class, and ask yourself what are the things that you did right and what are the other things that you like you destroyed, or the things that didn't work at that moment. Was it the strategy you implemented? Was your attitude towards the students? Was your students' attitude? So you have to consider all these variables when you are in the classroom. And it's part of what Prensky says. I'm not like taking another way and getting away from the Prensky explanation about how to teach these young learners. That's what I do every day. So reconsider your methodology. So this is another interesting take on education. It's given by this huge and amazing and interesting author. His name is Ken Robinson. He has a book, one of the many. The first one is The Element. In this book, he explains how he interviewed a lot of successful people. One of them is Matt Groening. Matt Groening is the creator of The Simpsons, and he explains Matt Groening success there. And it's interesting because his theory, it's about creativity being taught as any other process of teaching anything. Like you can teach creativity as just as you can teach someone to dance, or just as you can teach someone to manage a cell phone or computer, or to walk. So you can teach that, and it takes time, but you can do it. And in that tech talk, he explained how colleges or education in general is killing the creativity. We are like grown out of creativity when we are in schools, and he presents different arguments to support that idea. So once you watch that, you have to relate what Prensky said with what Ken Robinson is explaining about schools and changing the methodology. So please you click on that and you watch the video number 3, the gift of creativity applied to education. So that's what he says. Ken Robinson proposes a revolution in education. What do you do? What do you think your contribution would be in this moment in history? So once you watch that, and you remember that these slides are inviting you to reflect on what you do, because it's thinking about your role as a teacher. So what is your contribution taking into account or considering Ken Robinson's arguments? Think about that. How can you push your students? How can you change your students' perspectives on life? How can you change that? How would you do that? Implementing creativity. Okay? And and attached to this Ken Robinson's idea, I present to you Mr. Prensky perspective on education and something that he calls VUCA. And it's something that we are living right now, like variability. So there are things that are always changing, but next to that, it's uncertainty. At right now, we have no idea how this pandemic scenario is going to end. We have no idea if it is going to end well and we are going to be happy once again, or it will get worse progressively. And that's uncertainty, and that is what scares us the most, because we have no control over the situation. The only thing that we have control of is ourselves, staying away from the streets and watching the news and getting ready for anything that can happen. Okay, so variability and uncertainty, and it leads it both things lead to chaos. See, you look out your window and you will see nothing, but in that silence there are chaos in your mind, in your feelings, in your neighbor feelings, in your boss's feelings. So you have fear of the things that will happen, because we have no idea, we have no control, as I said. And also, it creates ambiguity. One day you're fine, and the other you're completely sad and destroyed because of the news, because of the stress, and it changes your settings inside your mind. It changes everything. So we should, before we rush into panic, we should consider this bottom-up vision. And maybe you already know this because you are maybe experienced teachers. And I'm only like giving my perspective on what I've been practicing all these years. So what do they need? They don't need more information, because they can get the information wherever they want. They Google it. What they need is a guidance. What they need is a critical perspective. So you have to teach that. You don't teach content. You use content as a pretext or as context to teach critical thinking, to develop critical thinking skills. You use your content, you use your grammar, you use your math, you use your biology to teach something else. Okay? So that's what he means. What do they need? They don't need information. You set the scenario full of information, and then you use that information and you create creatively 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 uh, creatively you transform that information into something that they can use. in their daily lives to solve problems. So how can I give it to them? You use different resources that you have at your disposal. One of them is, for example, WhatsApp. You can use also Facebook. You can use Netflix. You can surf the content in Netflix, and you can connect all those contents with things that you are currently teaching in the classroom. It will not fit perfectly, but it's your job to extract, to get something meaningful out of this material, audiovisual material that is contained everywhere, and link it to your context in the classroom so you can refresh your classroom with new methodologies. So it is important what he says. I mean, Pransky, the vision that I have is not just about technology in education. It's the fact, in fact, it is not even just a vision of better education. My vision is one of better people, better equipped to face the challenges of the world they will live in. That is, a world far different than yesterday's or even today's. Technology has an important place in that vision. It underlies everything, and that is true. So you're teaching in the classroom using your whiteboard, and that kid and that girl, when once they get home, they are playing video games which make them think faster. They listen to music while they're studying, and those two actions make them think faster. So one question for you is, what makes you think that your class is interesting to them? And the answer is not, because all of us have gone through that frustration of having kids that are not interested at all in what we are saying. So we should use technology tools or technological tools to enhance, to develop, to better our chances to connect with those kids. So that is a good image of what Prensky says of what is the difference between digital natives and digital immigrants. So this is a good image that they come plugged in already with all the devices and all the technology. And for me, this is a good representation of today's kids. And this is a good representation of what we are. Yeah, we are using technology like playing video games, but to do the same thing that we are using, and that is a good metaphor of what we do as teachers. Sometimes we just create and program a PowerPoint, and then we believe that we are innovating and we are changing kids' minds by using PowerPoint. It's not that. Okay, so you should please pay attention to this picture, because sometimes it represents what we do. Use new technology, but we do the same thing with it. Okay, something to think about. So please note this, but this is not just a joke. It's a very serious, because the single biggest problem facing education today is that our students, our teachers, instructors, they speak, or we speak sometimes, outdated language. What is outdated language? This is outdated language. Using new resources, but doing the same thing. So using PowerPoint, using a podcast, using a movie, but not exploiting the everything it can give. For example, you take a movie and you can do many things with it, but sometimes we play a movie and that's it. It's done. We watch it, we don't analyze it, we don't write anything about using Blogger, we use a podcast, we don't do YouTube videos, so we don't integrate different methodologies into the process of reflecting about that movie, and that's what outdated language is. And we are struggling to teach a population that speaks an entirely new language. Remember, kids go home and they play video games, they think faster. Kids go home and they watch movies, complicated movies that contain a lot of ideas, and we are like segmenting our classes little by little, and that's what it's frustrating our kids, because they feel like they have to slow down to catch what we are doing, because they come from a really fast paced context. And in relation to that, please watch this funny video about kids react to technology, and you will feel identified once you watch this video. I promise you, you will feel old. When I saw it, I felt frustrated, because that is true what they're saying. So digital natives, they are used to that, what I said, receiving information really fast. Video games give them that. Music give them that. Movies, series, animes, comics. So they are hyper connected to many different type of texts all around. Okay, so every time you have to when you face your students, think about that. Like, think about how digital natives are used to receiving information, and they like to parallel process, and they like to multitask, and they prefer graphics. That is true. So they are so iconic related. They are so into video, musical videos. They are so into YouTube. So they learned something in 5 minutes. So that's why some of these instructional tutorials, they are not the length of these videos do not go far beyond 5 or 10 minutes, because once it goes beyond 10 minutes they will get distracted, and that is true. That's why some of these amazing videos, animated videos about history, philosophy, or any other subject, they are really short. They are maybe 5 to 10 minutes, and they can tell an amazing explanation of anything that has happened in human history using images, sound, and narration. And that is important. That's what we should do as teachers, not present long information, boring information, because they can read that online. What our task is to integrate different formats. What I say, that you take your text, but you attach your text to some movie, and then to a music video or a YouTube explanation about something. That's what I do when I'm teaching my kids. I connect all these type of resources so I can have a better chances to catch their attention. Okay, that is a good image of what we should do as teachers, changing the methodology. Okay, so this is what we went through when we were students. This guy having all the knowledge, at least that's what we thought. This guy had all the knowledge, and this is our classroom today, like thinking heads, like working in groups, resolving problems. And that's what we do. Like, we go to every station and we just hear the kids ideas, and try to take those ideas and help them organize these ideas so they can solve the problem, and tell them how to move forward when they get any obstacle or any hard challenge ahead. so they get maybe frustrated or they get afraid of resolving that problem. So that's our task, to help our students to use their creativity to move forward and past the problem, okay, but using their ideas. So this is a good example of today's kids, and it's related to the previous ideas that I have been explaining. So every time I go to school, I have to power down. That is true. Is it that digital natives can pay attention, or that they choose not to? And I think that is, they choose not to pay attention, because our classes today are really boring. So please, often from the natives' point of view of their digital immigrant instructors, make their education not worth paying attention to, compare to everything they experience daily. So please try to connect your classes to different resources. So that's the only way we can succeed, especially in this pandemic scenario. If you keep your old habits, you will fail today, and no one will guarantee you that you will keep your job. So please change your ways. Como no ven los docentes 1.0 al docente 2.0, eso pasa. Lo ven a uno como un bicho raro, el bicho que tiene los gadgets, el iPad, los dos celulares, uno que hace podcast, el otro que tienes la GoPro para hacer los videos, que tienes el micrófono, que instalaste un estudio. Es decir, somos criticados por esa vieja guardia de profesores que se resistieron al cambio y que son los que están sufriendo las consecuencias de haberse resistido al cambio ahora. ¿Sí? Y en la segunda viñeta es como nosotros vemos a los otros docentes. ¿Sí? Como ese comercial del Uga Uga. ¿Sí? Miren. Lo representan con un dinosaurio, ¿sabes por qué? Porque los dinosaurios quedaron extintos, y a mí me parece que esta época de pandemia es el meteorito de los dinosaurios. No nos convirtamos en dinosaurios, por favor. So we need that. We need to shift. We need to change our chip inside our head so we don't die. Okay? So we don't get kicked out of the classroom and get replaced by someone who can and will do and will implement and will be creative. So let's do it, because we can. I have done it and it works. So basically, this is not e-learning, and it's sad. It's a sad image, because that is how I learned when I first encountered a computer. My teacher used to draw everything in the blackboard with a tiza, a chalk, and he explained everything in detail, and we didn't even touch the computer because we were not allowed to do so, because maybe we could damage the device. And that's sad. That is not e-learning at all, but that's what we do every day when we're not willing to change our ways. Okay, please do not be. We cannot afford this type of behavior from ourselves. Do not become this person. So in simple words, is using internet, is using different platforms to implement our ideas, or as I said, to enhance the teaching and learning scenarios that we are facing. And we have the chance to do it and to implement it right now, because if you're teaching school or if you're teaching universities, you will know in your heart, deep inside, that the next semester is not going to happen. At least that's what I think. It's not going to happen as it used to be. Maybe we will continue to teach in this way. So we should learn our lesson. We should take these 2 months, June and July, to practice a lot, implementing podcasts, recording yourself, using YouTube, using different platforms to enhance your relationship with your students, become more emotional attached to them, so they can feel that they are next to a human being who also suffers this the intensity of this time, this pandemic scenario. Okay, and I want you to pay attention to this tech talk. It's a young student from Spain who is explaining in a beautiful way his ways of helping other kids to become autonomous learners. Okay? By doing videos in YouTube, this kid will amaze you with the things he does to help students all around the world teaching biology using just PowerPoint animations. So if he can do it, we can do it. Use PowerPoint animations to enhance our process of teaching English or any other subject. So finally, this is task 1. You will read these 2 chapters from Prensky, From Digital Natives to Digital Wisdom, and Digital Natives, Digital Immigrants. Once you do that, once you read these 2 chapters, you will create your blog in Blogger from Google, using these 3 questions as a platform to create your argumentative text. So what kind of strategies do you implement to keep updated regarding educational technologies? How can you implement educational technologies in your everyday performance as an English teacher or any other teacher? How can you develop critical thinking? That's what I said, guys. Use your content to teach critical thinking in your students by teaching an English class, and it can be done. You can do it. So the task, it's here. Let me show you. You see, this is what we do, what we did on Saturday, session 1. This is what I presented to you. Okay, and we move to session 2. So you have already, the task has been scheduled. It's due May 12th. So here you have the PowerPoint that I'm reading right now. This is the PowerPoint. This is the new version. Okay, this version is the one that is right here, and also you have the 2 chapters. Okay, but additionally, you have 3 interviews, Mark Prensky interviews, so you can go deeper into his explanations about his perspective about what? About education. So I hope this audiovisual material will help you understand the different things that you have to consider when teaching anything, not just English. Okay, you're teachers before you're teaching English, so you have a set of skills that can help a lot of people become critical thinkers. Okay? Good night.